Hey everyone, good morning. This is Pam. Thanks for joining me. So, today is one of those days where nothing seemed to go right. This is one of the most frustrating drawings I've done in some time, but I think it's probably a good drawing to show everyone because I think it's a demonstration that even though you can have some frustrations and even though it can maybe not look as good as you'd like it to, you can sometimes save a drawing. Not all the time, but sometimes. So it's primarily, I think, my fault. I can't really blame anyone except for myself. It's using the wrong media and oh, I don't know. I don't know. It's just one of those things. So initially this started out okay. I had planned to make 5 figures. And after the fourth one, I got tired of making them, so I moved on. And that's kind of where it first started. When you don't really plan what you're doing and you're just kind of drawing along, you can find suddenly that the composition is all wrong. So, right about here, I'm beginning to look at it and I'm thinking that it just looks really off balance. And I'm trying to think, what am I going to do to balance it out? So, when I put in this foliage, I started drawing it more to the right and then making these tall pieces on the right to make up for the lack of balance. Of course, then as soon as I did that, I felt like I created an imbalance on the left hand side, and so I had to fix that. So that's what I'm doing here. I can tell you there's a lot of cussing going on when I'm doing this drawing today. There's something off. I woke up this morning after a really weird dream. I dreamt that someone stole my luggage and I was really mad about it. So I pushed him down and I put my foot on his um, wrist, and then I cut off some of his fingers with an ice scraper. And I am not a violent person. I am very anti-violence. So I don't know where that came from exactly. Well, probably came from the cheesecake last night. I had cheesecake before going to bed, and it might have come from that. But at any rate, it makes me worry about what's embedded in my psyche. And that's one of the reasons that this channel is called Pam's Dream Doodles, is because I have some really strange dreams. And I do think that they come out in my drawings because I do them in an unplanned way, and sometimes they come out and I end up making some pretty grotesque things. But anyway, what really created a problem with this wasn't so much the composition. I think I worked that out, but you'll see here in a second that I decided to paint it. I hadn't originally decided to paint it, but after I put in the texture that I'm putting in now, it just seemed like it was missing something. And I had just recently got some new jelly gouache. And yes, I had another night of insomnia a couple nights ago, and yeah, I went online and I bought some new gouache. And I had never used this gouache before. It had gotten some good reviews online and it was really inexpensive, so I thought, what the heck. This is my first foray into using it, and it was a pretty frustrating experience. I have never had gouache that acted this way before. It had a very strange texture, and I tried everything. I had right here, you'll see this was actually kind of a creamy consistency. It's kind of the consistency I'm used to, and you'll see that it's very translucent and it leaves these horrible streaks. So I tried thickening it up and it just made it worse. So I just decided to power through it, paint the whole thing, let it dry, put on another coat, and hope that that would help. And it actually didn't, as you'll see here in a moment. So my strategy when things don't work out is to act like my cat. No, that doesn't mean I pee in shoes. That means that, like my cat, when I make a mistake, I'll just pretend that I meant to do it on purpose. I got that from watching my cat, for example, when he's on my bed and he tries to lean back and he falls off the bed in a really undignified way, and then I look over the edge of the bed and he's looking up at me kind of as to say, yeah, I meant to do that. And so, yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing here. I paint it in, and you'll see that I'm unable to really fix the splotchiness. And you'll see my strategy for dealing with that in a second. I don't know. I think the splotchiness probably is caused by using gouache on ink paper, and just highlights the need to make sure you use the right paper. And I just ignored that general rule, I guess, and that's what resulted. So it's my fault. I'm not going to blame it on the gouache. I'm going to try watercolor paper the next time I use it, see if I can get it to work out better. So right here I'm getting really frustrated, but I waited till it dried, and then I went in and I actually just drew lines around all the brush strokes, trying to make it look as though I had meant to make these shapes in the background, and then I textured them. And I think it worked out okay. I think ultimately I was pretty happy with it. So anyway, leave me a message below. Let me know what you think. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. And if you don't, give me a thumbs up and subscribe anyway. Thanks again. I really appreciate you joining me today. It's good to have friends to hang out with. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.